Oh, yes. Welcome back to a special bonus episode.
Yeah.
Of All Gas, No Trash. This is the addendum to the St. Vincent and José Galván episode that we did previous to this. Because as the fates would have it, as soon as we get done with our recordings, a little birdie flies into the garage and tells us a couple of things, some interesting things.
Yes.
And so, additionally, as soon as Adam was done here and went home, he's been hard at work. He's been in the lab. He's been doing the reps. He's been pumping out the memes.
Oh, yeah.
and putting out some excellent...
I need to post those as reels, dude.
Yeah, you really should.
Yeah.
You really should. So if you want to see those, you can go to All Gas, No Trash Official.
Might have to tag Game Reach too so that you guys can share. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll make the announcement on the All Gas, No Trash stories. I'll say follow this account, and then if you want to see the dankest fucking memes, you go to Game Rage.
That's true. You go to Game Rage Magazine.
So
on Instagram and TikTok, because we have all the dankest of memes.
The dankest of memes.
And if you want to hear all other podcasts, as you know the drill, you go to GameRageMagazine.com or wherever podcasts are sold, and you can listen to all the other multitude of podcasts that we do. So, also, well, no, I guess that won't be out by then. But anyways, yeah, go check out all our other podcasts. All right, you just heard it. You just heard it. You just heard me say it last episode. So I don't think this is going to be a super long episode, but this is just like a follow up, right?
Yes, an addendum. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, so one of the things that also happened last night, as I'm sure you all remember, Adam discussing getting those posters.
I don't know if this is one I want to say out loud.
You don't want to say the numbering? You don't want to say that?
Nope.
All right. Well, then never mind.
Yeah, because it's like that feels like an invitation for shit to happen in a way that I don't want it to.
A negative invitation?
Yeah.
Well, all right. I guess we can talk about something else. But anyways, what is it? I guess I'll ask you this. What is it that you would like to share about what we learned last night?
So I get pocket dialed by good buddy Lana Mack, friend of the show, first episode of Without Censor podcast. An unintentional segue that I just did right now that happened to be legit.
Hey, it's unintentionally intentional.
Yeah, unintentionally intentional. So she pocket dials me, and I thought it was an accident. And then I call her back, and she doesn't answer. So I just figured, I don't know what this is about. But so she calls me back, and I guess it was intentional. And she says, or I was asking her, hey, where were you yesterday? I was trying to look for you, and then, actually, I found you, and then I ended up just leaving because I wasn't gonna wait. So then she stood behind and was hanging out with Jose's wife, Candace. And I don't know how or why, but I'm guessing because of the fact that this guy was the one that designed the poster art, Ernesto Llerena. His wife was talking to Lana. So then Lana brought up my question, or brought up the story that I made about what I was speculating in terms of the font about the Paramount, how it was known formerly as the Vex, and it had this weird Beavis and Butthead font where it's got the jagged edges and stuff. It looks like Ninja Stars. It's a weird font. But Lana told this guy, Ernesto's wife, and she went to go take her to go meet Ernesto, and then Lana told that guy, the guy that made the poster art, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But I wasn't the person that pieced that, or I wasn't the one that put that together. That was St. Vincent, and that I was like, I don't know how to.
Well, essentially, not just confirming what your speculation was regarding the homage to the Paramount as the Vex, because you did post that ahead of time.
That was before. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
way before. So you literally put the pieces together. You got it. See, this is like what good buddy Paul Heyman's talking about. People creating art, not for the people who don't get it, but for the people that do, man. That was made just for you because you get it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many other people would put that together. I don't know if that's something that anybody's even going to really understand, except for them because they came up with this idea. But anyways, it further adds to the legendary status of Saint Vincent because she's the one that came up. It wasn't the artist who said, "Oh, hey, we should do this." No, she was like, "No, this is what I want. You give me what I want. You do this." And he did it, and he did a fucking excellent job on that. Looks great.
Were you talking about the poster?
Yeah, the poster. Well, just in general.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're talking about, yeah.
I mean, this is an all-time poster. I without a doubt, this is one of the coolest posters I've ever seen, and the fact that it happened in the house that Jose built, or I know it existed for a long time. I know it's had people like Sonny and Cher and Tito Puente, the guy that played the bongos and shit, or the stand-up with the congas. I think he's a multi-instrumentalist to be honest, but there's a ton of history that has gone through that building, right? I mean, Sonny and Cher by herself is just timeless artist, right? And you know, Jose is adding his own legacy to the building, and I know I'm kind of being brash or whatever you want to call it by saying the house that Jose built, but Saint Vincent, when it comes to contemporary artists, that's as big as it gets, and I think that poster is going to be. I'm not just saying that because I bought
5 of them or whatever.
Yeah, whatever amount that I got.
A multitude.
I'm not just saying that to build up hype. It just felt different, and there was other pieces that she mentioned after the fact. I guess she was there long enough because Jose and Lana are like really good friends and stuff. And, you know, Jose had her as like his guest of honor or whatever. And so as a result of sticking around, I think she was referring to Lana. She was corralled into what was happening after the show was performed. They were having tacos, and Saint Vincent was there along with her wife, and I forget who else, but it was Jose, his wife, and the poster artist, his wife, Lana. They were all mingling, and so Lana met Saint Vincent, and she's telling me about this like as it's fucking happening. Well, I mean, she was recollecting. I mean, she was around when that was happening, but yeah, that was just wild stuff to hear because, you know, the first thing I did when I fucking came home was we started recording like pretty much fucking right away. We had Ari's pastrami sandwiches, and then we would fucking straight to work, dude. That's
you know what that is, man? That's the Game Rage way.
Yeah.
Just getting here, getting done with doing whatever and getting straight to work.
Yeah.
And giving these fine people that tune in to our shows
what they want.
Giving them what they want and giving them the inside scoop. The information that, you know, people probably wouldn't be getting otherwise if they weren't listening here to us.
Yeah.
So, but all in all, it wasn't, I will say it wasn't obviously just you telling me that this was a good time, because obviously I heard it from her as well, that this was a great show and a great experience and everything. So not that I, you know, doubted you, because, you know, you're the master of knowing things, but
you can't say that, dude. Cause I think one thing for sure, as far as Game Rage magazine goes, I really believe in like the white belt mentality.
Yeah.
That you're always, you're going to be a student for life.
Yeah.
So when you tell me that, I don't want to hear that.
That's true. That's a good point. Well, all right. Okay, how about this? You're pretty all right at finding.
That's more appropriate and the most decent.
And the most decent. Yeah, and you know what's funny, man? That has become our motto, like pretty all right. And I think that we should just keep that going because you're right. It's the student mentality, and it's, man, we're only as good as what we can do right now. Doesn't matter what we've done before or what's come before it. It's what can we give you right now? That's only as good as we are.
Yeah.
And yeah, so fuck, I lost my train of thought. I was saying it was pretty all right. Oh, so yeah, you're pretty all right at finding things and putting it together.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pop off a little bit.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I started to change my profile a bit just to be a little bit of an asshole.
Just so for clarification purposes, you're talking about Instagram, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So on my profile, I have Game Rage Magazine Music Podcast, and just underneath it says Nardwar's Idol, referring to the person that everybody knows and as far as music goes for interviews and stuff, and he pulls really obscure pieces of information about artists. And I have a theory of how that works. I'm not going to say that. I'll probably save it for another episode, or shit. Maybe if we have a Patreon or we have a private Discord like party for something, I will say what my theory is, because I actually haven't looked for it on any subreddits to see what people have said of how he gathers information. But I have my own theories, and I have a feeling that's what everybody else is going to say. Not that I'm probably the first, but I'm pretty just based on how intuitive I am about things and perceiving things and using deductive reasoning. I put that as a joke, but I'm actually kind of serious when I say that, because one of the things that I've been struggling with is that I don't really know how to put this without being an asshole, because I tell Josh this all the time, is that I really try to go above and beyond for other people, and I feel like I never get it back. So and not to say that I'm expecting that, but like I expect I can't even say that. How would I phrase it? I expect the universe to throw me a bone every once in a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know. I feel like I grind a lot, and I've done a lot of stuff for myself when I go out to shows. Like, I don't have a posse really when I go out to shows. And I didn't have a posse for like 4 or 5 years when I was doing all this shit. So I was always by myself. All these artists like have friends and shit, and everybody else has their friends, dude. And I was always by myself. So when I'm talking about like being Nardwar's idol, I'm saying that because I did the dirt. I went out and earned all the pieces of information that I talk about on the show. I drove all over Southern California. I gathered all the information that I'm sharing with you for spending weekend upon weekends, gathering information and piecing things together on my own, speculating. And dude, I have no doubt that some of the shit I said in the past episodes it's probably right. I have no doubt at this point, because just this thing with St. Vincent kind of solidified that this is the truth.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that's great is you don't have to be right all the time. You really only have to be right one time.
Yeah.
And then cool. Now you're good. You're legit. Yeah. Everything else you say could be wrong. However, because you're pretty all right at doing this, you actually get correct information most of the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
And you come to what ends up being the truth in terms of deductive reasoning. You figure that out on your own, and it turns out later, oh, hey, yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
I say we in general because we're talking about it on the show, but like, oh, Adam, you were right about this. So I think that's pretty interesting. And to say that you're Nardwar's idol, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying that you go out and do the dirt, and yeah, maybe now this guy doesn't necessarily have, because obviously when you get to the point of when you're somebody, you don't got to work as hard, right? So it's to say, man, oh, he probably wishes he could go out and do this shit like maybe he used to back in the day. Like, yeah. Oh man, I wish I could go back and do this shit, and it's not as easy. It doesn't come as easy. I wish it would go back to that. You know what I'm saying? That's I think what you're trying to say by that.
Well, I mean, it could be that, but it could also be saying, I mean, that it's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy for him to do that, to do obscure things to win people over like that. and I've not to say I never had it, but I had more rough experiences with artists where I just get, the cold shoulder through emails or me trying to reach out and stuff. And maybe that guy had it rough too in the beginning, but it's more maybe to be inflammatory and is a middle finger to people in general to say, you didn't recognize my game when nobody was looking, but you will once we get to where we need to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say really bombastic things like something like that to be an asshole.
Yeah, well, good. Because you know what? That's what we believe here. And maybe you should change it to say, Nardwar knows I'm pretty all right. Throw in his name with a little self-promotion, with the Game Rage saying or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and to go back to what you were saying about going above and beyond for people, man, I can attest to that. I see you go above and beyond for fucking so many different people, not just artists. All right. But yes, that's a majority of the people you're trying to help out. Right. Or people within the music industry. And you go above and beyond at every opportunity. And again, I'm not blanket saying everyone is an asshole, but at least from what I've seen, it's the overwhelming majority is not appreciative or doesn't, oh, okay, yeah, this guy went ahead and did this thing for me. Whatever. Now, obviously, that's the majority. The minority is people that are, oh, hey, man, I appreciate that. Hey, this could turn into something, beneficial for everybody. And that's like, at least with us, with what we're doing with this whole thing in general, when we do something with somebody, I'm not trying to get ahead of them. I'm not trying to fucking do something that will put us over above them. This is expected to be a mutually beneficial thing, right? Like if we're doing something, yeah, sure, maybe what we could give you isn't as big as what you could give us potentially, depending on who it is we're talking about. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. All we're interested in is helping people out. And like you say, doing the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing, well, hell, most of the time doing the right thing doesn't actually get you rewarded. It almost hurts you to do the right thing. So we consistently do the right thing to our own detriment. And I do think that you're right. Eventually, doing the right thing will catch up with us.
It did, and I feel like
it's already started to do that.
It manifested like in this thing, because
man, that thing last night, definitely, for sure.
Because I mean, fuck, I don't even know if I could say the other thing, because that could turn into a whole 20-minute thing.
Yeah,
but I only did something about it today, and I haven't got a response for it yet. And I assume it's because this person's busy.
Yeah,
but the only thing I could say is that I'm trying to pool everything in one spot. Like this would be, I don't think it's going to be as cool as St. Vincent playing at the Paramount, but as far as an insider's information or insider baseball, as far as something like that, when comedians have friends that are comedians and who's the top dog within that circle, it's like the who's who, right?
Yeah.
That's what this could be if I end up.
Yeah. If it turns out the way, and I think that this is a topic we should save
when it actually happens.
When it happens, or if it doesn't happen, we should definitely talk about it too. So stay tuned for whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
Sometime later this fall, likely, but or maybe sooner. If it turns out to be a no, that ain't going to happen, then cool, we can talk about it sooner.
Yeah.
But that right there is something of, man, you putting the pieces together and shit. Maybe that's our niche or whatever that we get into is yeah, we're going to do podcasts. We're going to make all this stuff. But then Adam here just puts pieces together and makes cool shit come about, makes cool shit happen potentially. And yeah, listen, sure, maybe that thing's not as cool as St. Vincent playing at the Paramount, but it's still pretty fucking cool to just say, and the weird way that shit comes about, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a great story of how that could turn into something that is mutually beneficial to every single person involved.
Yeah, and it's also, the only thing I'd say is that Lana there was more to the story between Lana and that one part about talking to the poster artist, but I can't say anything just yet. So
yeah, we'll keep it under wraps.
Yeah, we'll keep it under wraps for now. If it ends up not happening, then I'll spill the beans and we can just sulk about it.
Yeah.
on an episode or something.
We'll cry about
it. So shit. Well, that kind of eliminates a lot of fucking things. But
yeah, whatever. Let me ask you this: after having experienced all this stuff with the St. Vincent concert, hearing all this other stuff,
yeah.
Do you think, or I guess, how do you feel about this as an opportunity to essentially utilize your talents and put shit together? How does it make you feel getting to potentially do this, put something together?
I don't know. Because when I think about it, it pretty much seems like stuff I've already been doing. I mean, yeah, in my head, I think it's epic. But at the same token, I also think I've always kind of been doing this pretty much from the beginning of when I got involved with music, that I was putting things together that I thought made sense. So it doesn't seem any different from the previous times I've done this. It's just the magnitude of it feels bigger.
Yeah. So do you think that, well, I guess, how do you feel about the chances or the potentiality of possibly putting together some sort of event in the future? Do you think me personally? Yeah, for you doing it.
It's hard because not to. If I had to be real crass, I don't think there's enough here. Well, actually, that's not true. If I don't think about it in the way that I haven't found new bands from Los Angeles or Southern California in general, I haven't found something that wowed me, with the exception of AKA BK. I would prefer rather to work with smaller bands, and I don't feel like I have enough to do something like that. But do I know bands that have existed for 2 or 3 years or a little bit more than that I would like to do something with, that are still working on getting out there and having people hear their music and do cool stuff? Yeah, I think I would maybe do something like that. And then, but I can't even begin to put together how I would make that happen or who it would be. I mean, I have some people in mind, but yeah, I just can't imagine how all that shit would come together. But would it be cool to do something like that? Absolutely. But I also think in the way of for us doing all this stuff with like the podcasting, that I almost want to wait until we reach a certain point, so that not only have we reached a certain threshold, but if other people are watching, it's the Field of Dreams thing. Build
it and they will come.
Build it and they will come. If we do something along those lines and wait for people to come to us, then that's the point that we will do it. And I feel like it's going to happen. I couldn't tell you what year it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen this year, because we're still working on just everything. And then maybe not even next year, but let's say within 5 years. I think that's a fair shake of it. Within the next 5 years, if we build the demand, because I want to take that as an opportunity, much like wrestling, to build up hype for ourselves. And we're essentially creating the undefeated streak of Roman Reigns with ourselves, right?
Right.
And then once we hit our peak, then it's going to be time to pass the torch to somebody else with bands. Because we're going to put the spotlight on new people and say, these are the people that you should be paying attention. These are the people that are going to stand the test of time. And then they'll benefit from it because they'll have a built-in audience. And then after that, I mean, who the fuck, that's all up in the air afterwards. But we at least did our part. So that's why I don't see a point in doing a show right now until something happens. And I can't tell you what that thing is going to be. It might be 1,000 streams on one episode, or it could be reaching 10,000 followers, as simple as that. And people start contacting us on our emails for once. Not me fucking
sending
goddamn
cold call emails.
Not me adding to my fucking receipts text channel on the Discord, keeping track of names so that it's our hit list, dude. It's the Cat Williams thing, dude.
Yeah.
It's like where I know this is more so about podcasting what I'm about to say, but we're kind of crossing off our own checklists of people that are around us in terms of other podcasts and finding out, are we better than him? I know that sounds competitive, but fuck it, dude. I'm gonna be real. There is some type of competition that exists, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. And I fully abide by what Cat Williams says. If he has a list of 200 people, and if you're going to be the best of the best, you have to survey the competition and find out whether you match up or you're above it. And I feel like we're crossing off fucking names off the list. I mean, it's going to be a slow climb, but I don't really care because I know we got it good here. It's just a matter of time and being consistent.
Yeah, and I you're right. This is a competitive nature. Like this quote unquote entertainment industry is probably the most competitive fucking industry that exists.
Yeah. Because
everyone's vying for the attention. Everyone wants to be seen. It's got to be extremely competitive. So yeah, that's just real. We are fucking highly competitive with this thing. And that's not to say that it's always a hostile competitiveness.
It's not hostile. It's not personal. It's just business.
It's not hostile. It's not like, oh man, we want to see them fail. No, it's not that. We just want to be better than you. Like that, that's it. Like, right. And I know that sounds fucking arrogant, but it is. That's just how it is. If we're being judged based on any metric that you want to choose, we want to be the best at that metric in the space that we're in. That's the goal is to reach that pinnacle of whatever. If it's monthly downloads, if it's episode downloads, whatever the fuck the number is, if it's followers on Instagram, we want to be better than all of our competition, because then that just lets us bring better content and lets us do better things for the people that follow us and the people that want to, that we essentially want to entertain. See, this is all actually really selfless because we want to entertain the people.
Yeah.
So I think all these things happening, and we've talked about before with the synchronicities and things just lining up right. This is one of those things where shit's just lining up right. And I think it's going to continue, hopefully looking up for us.
Looking promising, yeah.
Yeah, and promising. So
yeah, and I guess what I meant about the competition, and maybe minus the deaths, but when it was East Coast versus West Coast in hip hop,
yeah,
it was who's gonna make the best shit, who's gonna make the hardest shit,
yeah,
and that's what it is. It's just who's gonna make the hardest, who's gonna make the most banging material as far as
right
the podcast episodes go.
Yeah.
And that's all it really is. I'm trying to size up other people and saying, that's pretty good, but we got an ace in the hole and tough shit.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking come on top.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hell yeah.
Yeah. So, and I will acknowledge, I think his name is Pete Weber, the bowler, with his quote, dude, one of the hardest sports quotes ever. Wait, I actually forgot what it was.
It was love me or hate me.
Yeah.
You still watched, and there's not a goddamn thing you could do about it.
I think it's off by a little bit, but then it's roughly about, yeah.
I paraphrase it. Listen, I'm not what's his name? Steve Weber?
Pete Weber.
I'm not a Pete Weber fucking biographer, so yeah, I didn't fully get that, but whatever, I was close enough. So anyways,
I did have something else to point out. And this feels like it's going to throw Wait, is it Chris Weber or something? Well, now I got to look it up real quick. Shit.
Oh, now he's got to look it up real quick because, well, we also do like providing factual information.
Pete Weber. Yeah, it is Pete Weber.
Okay,
Yeah, I was right.
All right.
So after I was heading out the door, I saw an interesting figure, a statuesque person that I met a month ago. Okay. And if you've been listening to the episodes of All Gas, No Trash, I couldn't tell you if it was episode 33 or maybe 31. I'm not sure where it fell, but I ran into Lady Appletree's manager at the end of the show. And I thought that was really fucking strange. And I guess I didn't piece it together because I haven't been paying attention. I care. I'm going to be honest. I care more about rising artists than I do about more established artists than like St. Vincent. But anyways, I did know that this guy, the manager of Lady Appletree, Jacob Zenner, worked for Virgin Music. So when I had a conversation with them, he told me, he's like, hey, thanks for posting the footage of Lady Appletree at Force of Healing Records. I'm like, yeah, no problem, dude. I'll, whatever. Like, I really love your artist or whatever. And so then we kind of had a quick conversation, and I was like, oh, how'd you like the show or whatever? He's like, oh, yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I've seen her a couple of times or something. And then he said that he was part of the team that put some of the releases together for St. Vincent for this specific album. I think he was part of the team that put that shit together. So just the weird, when you talk about weird shit that happens, I mean, some of the things that we already talked about, plus this, fucking strange. I don't know what else to add, man. That was strange. Weird as fuck.
That is weird. And, also it is kind of crazy. And this, I don't really mean to sound like I'm talking shit, but it's going to come out that way. And maybe I do mean it talking shit wise, but it also just shows how incestuous the entertainment industry actually is. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like you got one guy that, oh man, you work on fucking, all these different artists and all this different shit. And it's like, okay, cool. That's awesome. But it really doesn't afford opportunity for anyone who's up and coming to try and do that. You know what I'm saying? But good. I mean, whatever. Good for them. That's cool. But I just feel like it's like, oh man, that's super, super insider trading, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But hey, good for them.
Don't give a fuck.
They got it. I agree.
We have no masters.
And that's true. That's a true story. That's a true story.
Where are we at in terms of time?
33 minutes. So what else you got? You got anything else to talk about?
I mean, shit. I hope I don't have to do an addendum part 2 for this shit.
An addendum to the addendum.
I guess I will say that I woke up this morning and I got a text from José because before the show had even started, I think I talked about it yesterday, that I didn't know whether to get him flowers or because I thought that was too on the nose to give somebody their flowers. But the shit, that's how the figure of speech came about. So I ended up giving him like chocolates, seeds, candies, nuts and chews, and 2 pounds.
Fuck, man, that's a lot of chocolate, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, he could share it with his family and shit. So I gave him a box of that, and I just wrote like a fucking letter, and the contents of it were basically that I was really fucking proud of him, and he came a long way to have this moment, and I think this is only the beginning for him. It's only going to escalate from here. And then he sent me a text in the morning. He's like, "Oh, dude," he's like, thank you so much for the words, man. I really appreciate it. And, glad to have you around, and you're a great dude. I'm like, thank you. Well, I actually told him I cried because I mean, dude, I'll tell you what, man, I never fucking cry. You're the only person I think amongst my friends that have actually seen me cry for circumstances that I prefer not to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, also here at the Church of All Gas No Trash, we did actually canonize him last night on the podcast.
Oh yeah, he's now he's a saint,
Saint Jose
/ God at this point. So that's more or less it. A good 35 minutes to an addendum. That feels about right. Yeah,
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, anyways, well. If you want to follow us, follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official. You follow Game Rage at Game Rage Magazine. And you can view all our podcasts, like I said, GameRageMagazine.com, everywhere podcasts are sold. Also, stay tuned for I don't know if we can say St. Vincent on the t-shirt, but maybe it's, I attended this concert and all I got was CTE and this shirt. Like,
yeah, that's your joke. I just put it on Instagram because I thought it was funny.
It's fucking great. Yeah, I agree. That's a free use joke, man. That's an excellent joke. But I will say, I do think we should figure out how to make a shirt out of that. I don't know if we can say St. Vincent on there. I don't know if that's like, I don't know how that works with copyright. It's like the name, but
the name itself.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
they don't own, I mean, they own, I guess they technically own the name, but what does that have to do with that's not the selling point of the shirt.
The selling point is that I got kicked in the face or I got CTE in the shit in the shirt. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to talk to the Game Rage legal team that we keep essentially in a law office sweatshop beneath the garage here and see what they have to say.
Yeah.
But anyways, check it out. Check out all our podcasts. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the Addendum. Short but sweet.